My next guest, Bill Cheney. He is the president and CEO of the California Nevada Credit Union Leagues. Bill Cheney, welcome to Bloomberg.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Now, let's just put it into context. So we were just talking during the break that
Yes.
the California economy is a lot larger than the economy of Greece. And we've spent a lot of time talking about the economy of Greece this week. So how is the health of the California economy? Because that's like more than, what is it, about 11, 12% of the total U.S. economy is California.
It is right around 11 or 12%. It's a huge economy. Not as big as it used to be, unfortunately, but California has been hit very hard by this economy. I also represent credit unions in Nevada, and Nevada has been hit even harder than California. I think the good news is we're starting to see a turn. So it's been very difficult. We've seen rising unemployment. We just heard this week that the U.S. unemployment rate fell to 9.7%. In California and Nevada, we're over 12%. And we won't get the most recent data until next week.
Over 12% in unemployment.
Over 12%. And that's the reported unemployment. You know, the actual
what do you think it is? I mean, because you're on the ground there with the credit unions.
Right.
You're seeing it on a daily basis. What would you say? Is it double that?
I don't think it's double, but what I hear numbers around 18, 19% if you include discouraged workers, people who've given up. That's a huge number. When almost 1 in 5 people are out of work, that's a big hole to fill in terms of an economy.
So where are you seeing the turnaround? I mean, the housing market, is that starting to stabilize in California?
What we're hearing from our credit unions, and we've got 400 of them in the 2 states, is that they are starting to see encouraging numbers in their housing numbers. And in credit unions, housing numbers are a little bit different than a statistical number. What they're seeing is that they're working with their members and they're modifying loans to keep them in their homes. They're seeing their delinquency rates fall ever so slightly. They're seeing their charge-off rates fall, albeit ever so slightly. But the news we're hearing is encouraging now. We've got a long way to go because we've seen prices fall. I'm not sure we've totally reached bottom. But at the lower end, starter homes in California, whereas 6 months ago it was difficult to get a bid on a home, now we're seeing competing offers and we're seeing people bid up the value of homes. And that's the beginning of the recovery, in my opinion.
All right, that's the beginning of the recovery in the housing sector.
Right.
What about in consumption, automobiles, for example?
Automobiles, we saw a blip with the Cash for Clunkers program. We saw some increased sales. It dropped off after that. We've seen a little bit of recovery since then. I think the good news for California and Nevada, and it's probably reflected in the rest of the country too, is I think we're building some pent-up demand. And hopefully as we start to recover and people start to feel better about the economy, we'll see some of that translate into more sales later this year.
Talk about the mental effect, because you say that that is key to actually changing what happens inside the economy, that consumers, even though they might be able to get a job or they might be able to buy a home, they might not really contribute to any growth in the economy because of the mental scars.
Yeah, I think people are hopeful about the recovery, but they're not quite there yet. Even when they get a new job or if they're able to stabilize their housing situation, they're going to be a little more conservative this time around. So it's going to take a while for consumer sentiment to fully recover. But once people get employed, once the housing market starts to stabilize, over time, I think we'll see a sort of a long, slow, gradual recovery.
Bill Cheney, a quick question coming from a listener wants to know about the affordability of homes. Isn't that a good thing in your mind, that houses are now more affordable? In California, it was almost out of sight. You couldn't buy a house.
Houses are much more affordable. So, I mean, it's a bad news situation if you owned a home. If you're looking for a home, it's a great news situation in terms of affordability and being able to find something for your family. Absolutely.
Right. I want to thank you very much, Bill Cheney, coming in, the president and the CEO of the California Nevada Credit Union Leagues, giving us some perspective on the, 11, 12% of the U.S. economy in California. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.